My name is Cobi Williams, host of Palmetto Happenings with Cobi. This show is all about highlighting leaders in economic development, workforce development, commercial real estate, and tourism. Today, I am here with Ms. Sandy Davis, President and CEO of the Myrtle Beach Regional Economic Development Corporation. How are you doing today, Sandy?
I'm great, Cobi. How are you?
Life is good. Life is good. Well, tell us about yourself and MBREDC.
Okay, so I am a native of Loris, along with Cobi, and I went to school in Loris my entire life, and then I transferred to Georgetown Technical College, and then from there to Coastal Carolina University. So I am a result of our educational system here, and I think that is one of the reasons why I work so hard to recruit companies to come here so that our kids will have a place to work and realize whether they want to go away to school or stay here to go to school, that they can stay home to work. And that is what our county wants to see. I'm pretty sure it's what most of our municipalities want to see. And so that is our job, to work to keep our kids here and keep our workforce here, and also to diversify our economy.
Absolutely. And what region, what area? I know it's the Myrtle Beach Regional Economic. What region? What can you tell me the geographical boundaries of what you guys cover?
We are all of Horry County.
Okay.
So not only do we work with Horry County, but we also work with each municipality. Each municipality contributes to the fund for the MBREDC for us to be able to do the things that we do.
And what are some recent successes or accomplishments of the MBREDC? Because I mean, you guys are always in the news.
This year we had a very good year. So we've had announcements in Loris, our Carolina Food Service expansion. We're very excited about that. We had FedEx here in Myrtle Beach, right outside the city limits. Moose Logistics, a new company from the Philippines, going to Loris. We're excited about them as well.
Everyone in Loris is excited about that.
Yes, it's going to be a great company.
Carolina
Refractories, they're going to Ascot Valley. Shed Windows and More, they're in Longs. And Pepsi Bottling Ventures is transferring and growing from Conway to North Myrtle Beach. And then we also have two of our recent announcements, which are really huge to us, is the subsea cables, which are coming through Myrtle Beach and going into our ITAP part, which has sat available the entire time I've been here. So we are really excited to have DC Blocks, the cable landing station provider, who will house their equipment there, and both Google and Meta, two of the biggest names around, going through Myrtle Beach.
In the Silicon Valley of the South is what I always like to say. It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing. Not really in my head. I really think we can be that. But yeah, that subsea cable is unlimited opportunity there. It's pretty exciting for the state.
That's right. And then we have seen a lot of activity due to those announcements. So we do use a site tracker system on our website, and we are able to see what links people are clicking on, what type of companies those are, and the technology sector is really, really hot right now.
What opportunities do you see in the Myrtle Beach region that it's kind of like a strength compared to the rest of the global economy?
Right now, we're getting a lot of attention due to our growth. Every company that we speak with, not just in the United States, but internationally, their biggest problem is workforce. With the amount of growth that we have in Horry County, we are seeing a big rise in the age 19 to 44 workforce group, which is the primary age that your job seekers are looking for. So I think due to that growth, we are having a lot more success than a lot of other people. When leaders in the area, whatever area they are from, see magazine articles or digital articles, and it's showcasing the top 5, and we are listed there for 4 years in a row, then it begins to hit home. Well, maybe I should check into that. And especially whenever they're seeing articles about what companies, subsea cable, especially Google and Meta. I mean, their name really helped get us out there because a lot of people follow Google and Meta. I can tell you that it has made a big difference with us. We even have people that'll call us and say, look, what kind of industry do you serve? What are you looking for there? I read about Google going there. So, I mean, it really did help us, and I think that's one of the things, our growth, and the fact that we've had some really well-known name companies announced in our area over the past year.
Yeah, you talk about the growth here. I mean, I think our MSA is the fastest growing in the United States, according to a couple different publications. And our MSA, which I think is exciting, is also part of the Brunswick County area. It's not part of the whole conversation, but I just think that's interesting too, because that area is a high growth area between the state line in Myrtle Beach to Wilmington. I think that's cool that we get to capture that part of our economy. What are some of the threats you I don't want to say be that extreme, but like what are some things we need to keep an eye on as a region and try to head in the opposite direction of, if you will, in the coming years?
I think one of our biggest threats is a hurricane. That's always a question every time a company is ready to move here. They're like, well, didn't you have a hurricane? Didn't you guys have a lot of flooding? So our infrastructure here is what's very important. I am an advocate for the sail road. I just really think that we need that. We need some kind of evacuation. And I-73, of course, I totally agree that it could be a big win for us. But as long as we have some infrastructure besides what we currently have, because as we saw when we had the flooding last time, it was a big problem. And I did hear from some companies who had recently moved here that year, and they were like, how often does this happen? And then you say, this hardly ever happens, and then it happened again.
Yeah, we get those back-to-back 100-year floods.
That's right. So,
I was more like back-to-back, but it doesn't happen all the time.
Usually it does not happen. But
I remember it was like I was finishing up school, and it was undergrad here at Coastal, and it was like in 2016 and 17, it was like the worst year, the start of those hurricane years. I'm like, this doesn't happen all the time, but it's but the cell, the Southern Evacuation Lifeline, I always get that name. It's a long name, but it's a great idea. Sure. It's good for evacuation, but it's also better infrastructure for our roads, but also serves the Williamsburg County too, which I think is an exciting opportunity for us to embark on as an economy in the coming days. And also, I mean, of course, I-73 is something that needs to happen, and obviously as we grow, we're going to get more attention from the state government, like, okay, these guys might actually need some help. Collaboration, that's something that's been big, and certainly my circles, and I know in your circles, what is the EDC doing, in regards to working with state leaders, federal leaders, and even the municipalities, not, the Horry County area. I mentioned the, Brunswick County too. What is the EDC? Because I mean, that's how communication, collaboration is how you move forward. What is the EDC doing to move in that direction?
We have a great relationship with Department of Commerce, and we have meetings where we share that with them, what we're seeing as problems, and then they usually take it from there for us. We just had someone from Department of Commerce here last week, spent the day with us, toured all of our industrial parks, talked about our issues. We also did the same at our board meetings. We expressed things. We actually just had Wayne Gray come and speak about the RIDE program, explain to our board where the money is going, explain how the sail road and I-73 is funded, and that it does not come from that money. And so we were having those conversations. We also have Karen Reardon on our board, and she usually handles a lot of the I-73 information for us at the state level as well as the county. So we just kind of follow their lead, let them do whatever they need to do. We provide the numbers as far as the amount of projects that we do not get to see because of an interstate, or maybe how it's affecting certain companies. And then, for an example, when we had the flooding, the Department of Commerce wants us to report to them every company that it is, that it is challenging, that is, that was having to close their doors or had any kind of damage. And luckily, we did not have anyone who reported any damage. We did have a few who had to close for a few days because their employees couldn't get there, or because school was out and they didn't have people to keep their kids. But mostly we do not have a lot of issues that we have to take to the state level or the federal level, other than if I have a company who is trying to get an employee here to train people and they're having a problem with their visa. So I did just have that recently happen, and an employee that was sent here to train, his time ran out and he had to go back, and they tried to extend his visa and couldn't get it extended.
Wow.
So that is something that we have occasionally come up, but it's not huge, and usually we can find out a way, even if they have to go back home for a small while, they can still come back. And then it's usually, if we know ahead of time instead of the day you're having to leave, it really helps a lot. But
Yeah.
it's all about planning and understanding, deadlines, and I would say that is one of our biggest threats. And secondly would be our public transportation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Coast RTA, that's been a topic of conversation for years, and I'm kind of I'm excited about the opportunity that lies ahead for them. I'm an optimistic guy, and I think that's an opportunity there for just not the state of Horry, or not the county of Horry, but the state of South Carolina would benefit from supporting our initiatives, our needs.
That's
right. Being that we are the fastest growing in the country, we should be getting the support that we need to survive.
And you have to think about that whenever you're relocating a company from a city like New York City. A lot of those people do not have cars. They do not have driver's license. They can take a subway, a Uber, or something to work, and it's not very far. Yeah, it's easy. So I was excited when I met with Coast RTA last week to hear about their ride share program.
Yep.
So it's kind of a program through Enterprise where they can get like a vehicle and they can pick up 4 or 5. That's what I need. I mean, our companies are not looking at 40 people to fit on a bus that needs a bus stop. It's more like Worksman Cycles, for example. Some of their employees ride bicycles because they moved with the company from New York and they do not have a driver's license. They don't have a car. And they're driving their bicycles to work, which is very healthy, and it works for where they live. But what about when it's raining like it was for the past 2 weeks and they're, they have no other way? This program would allow them to be able to pick each other up. There are about 4 of them. So that is a great program that's going to be available, and I'm excited to see their growth and what they have planned for the future.
And, being that you touched on Loris earlier, the rural South Carolina, connecting that to the beach and harnessing the opportunity that's within rural South Carolina. You talk about a couple different companies that are going to Loris, but I mean, not just Loris, but there's also Hainer. I'm going blank on the other, but there's Green Sea, the other inland communities, but that's where you can put these industrial sites at, that are really nice. They add the value to the community. And I think community, that's when I talk about with collaboration and reaching out to these people and telling the community that, this is good for you. This is not going to take away the value or the face value of your community. It's going to add to it. And I appreciate the efforts that you guys do over here at the MBREDC. Long name, but it's a great name. Myrtle Beach Regional as well. Sometimes I get tongue-tied, but I love it. That's why MBREDC is a lot easier to say. Is there anything else you would like to highlight to our audience about future, what's going on in the future for y'all?
I just want to highlight one of our big targets this year that we're going to be working on is the marine sector. We have the Bucksport Marine Park. It has been vacant, but everything has just been completed in the past year and a half. So we're really going to be pushing that site. We think it's a great site. We have some wonderful programs that Georgetown Technical College is doing. Just recently opened a new program in Georgetown, which will also feed for our marine positions that we would need if we could recruit a good boat builder. So we're looking forward to that. We also have a lot of interest in our aviation right now. And we'll continue with our manufacturing and technology. Also, if we could find any kind of healthcare manufacturing component to assist in that industry. Pharmaceuticals, that became a little bit of a challenge after COVID. We knew that was something that we needed to look into. And one of my big things this year that I'm most excited about is the amount of product that we have becoming available. We have always lost projects due to not having any buildings, like the Pepsi project that we would have lost probably to North Carolina.
Yeah.
Had we not had the Palmetto Coast Industrial Park.
That's beautiful, by the way. I
It
love
is
it.
beautiful. So we will have 4 buildings totaling over 700,000 square feet. And then we have a spec building going up in Ascot Valley that's 100,000 square feet, expandable to about 140. And
great location too.
It is a great location right off Highway 701 and Highway 22. We recently purchased an additional 50 acres across the street. That is going to be Ascot Valley Phase 2. We already have interest on it. And then we have, of course, Cool Springs, and we have more availability land around that park. Loris, we sold a parcel in there this past year, and we are currently working with someone else to be able to buy land in there and build their own facility. And it just keeps growing, and I just think it's because we have the availability. And Horry County has really been helpful this past year. They just approved $1.5 million in their 2024 budget to allow it to go towards buying more land for us. And it's just great. That's what we need in order to make this happen.
I mean, 100%. You know, you talk about all these different industries. You know, I talk about the boating and all the industrial parks, and you know, we have where these industrial parks are located. Personally, I just know. I mean, they're great locations. You know, they're easy to access. They're near, you know, housing communities. They're near residential. I mean, near residential. They're near commercial and in the beach and the inland. You know, it's all well placed, you know, areas. And plus, we have the education here. You know, in Horry County schools. You know, you have a very diverse opportunities, you know, to get an education, you know, have a trade or some sort by the time you turn 18, which is important too. I'm excited about it. And we talk about all these industrial parks. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. Even if you go to higher education, you got tech too. And then in coastal Carolina, when we talk about healthcare, the healthcare industry, I think, you know, both there's good opportunities there too. So it's all exciting stuff. And I'm excited for the future of the region.
And we are definitely Team Horry, but I'm going to tell you, I meet with other counties and listen to their stories, and we truly have the best collaboration in Horry County as far as our workforce development, our educational system, our county municipality leaders. They are all very much in favor of economic development and work hard to support us. In addition to that, then you look at our partners outside of that, our healthcare partners. They're ready. They'll meet with our projects, tell them what we have, you know, what kind of things they could put together for their employees if they want their own insurance plan or their own provider to be able to go to. I mean, we go the extra mile for our projects, and I really think that's what makes the difference. And it's not something I could do alone without a wonderful team that stands up every time we have a project 100%. To take the lead.
Yeah, you guys do a great job here, and I appreciate all you do. Thank y'all for listening to Palmetto Happenings with Cobi. To listen to more episodes like this one, follow us on the Grant Center for Real Estate and Economics on LinkedIn and Facebook, and we're also on Instagram and Twitter.